Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Se Vuelve Podcast. My name is Monica, and I want to thank you for being here. For this week's episode, we have a little bit of a different approach that I'm coming with today. In a previous episode, the episode with Blanca, Christine, and Marj, we kind of dropped a little teaser, and I mentioned about potentially bringing up the topic of retail hell stories. So today, that's what we're going to be talking about. So please help me welcome Blanca, Christine, and Marj. Hi, friends. Welcome back to Se Vuelve Podcast. How are you doing?
Fantastic.
Good.
Go ahead and introduce yourselves, please.
Hey everyone. Hi. Se Vuelve Podcast listeners. My name is Marj. I've got 10 years of retail experience under my belt, and I'm here to talk about all the worst, all the best.
I don't know how long I worked in retail. It was a long time. And I worked with Monica, Christine, and Marge, retail health stories. Maybe some of ours are like intertwined, but I'm here for a good time.
Hi, I'm Christine. As the rest of them said, I was in retail for what felt like a lifetime, but probably that same range of 10-ish years. Um, so excited to be here.
I think I have, I think maybe like 10 years or over 10 years experience of like working in retail or so. My first job was in retail like when I was 17. So yeah, that's quite a journey. So we're kind of here today to kind of talk about our certain interactions, maybe with either customers or even other colleagues or wherever this conversation goes. So,
I'll start
tell us your
out.
scary
Yeah,
moments.
right? It wasn't like horrible, but I will say like one time we had like the men's mez or something. I forgot what it was called, but like towards the back.
Yes.
And I was working there by myself because it was around Christmas time and like they wanted every single register open. Usually there wasn't a register open, but they're like, no, every single register has to be open. And I'm like, okay, this is the worst. I hate being register.
Okay,
Okay,
so
so
they actually put you to work like as a cashier
as a
when,
cashier, yeah.
but mind you, your role at that time was not as a cashier.
Yeah, no, I
Okay.
wasn't. But they were like cross training or whatever just because they didn't have bodies. So I got stuck in the mez by myself ringing. Mind you, I do this like, I don't know, like 4 or 5 times a year before this. And there was like an older guy there, and it just kind of looked like he was shopping. So I was like, okay, no one's come to the register. I'm going to go take care of some stuff. I'll be right back. I've gone for like 5 minutes. I come back, he's behind the register, trying to use our phone to call someone to come and help him. And I'm like, first of all, I know you don't know how to use your phone. You're not going to get on the loudspeaker because you don't even know how to use it. But he's there, and I get there, and I'm like, sir, like, do you need help? Like, what's going on? And he's like, I've been waiting here for so long. There was nobody here. I'm trying to call somebody to come and help me. And I'm like, I was gone 5 minutes. Like, you could have not been waiting more than 5 minutes. So, straight up, you're lying to me, but what am I going to say? Okay. I'm like, okay, yeah, sorry about that. Like, let me get you some help. And then he's still over here, like, arguing me, ranting for like an extra 5 minutes. And then I will say, like, it might have been his daughter, someone like that comes up,
Yeah.
and she's just like, oh, I'm sorry, like, I don't know, I lost him for a moment in the store, like, like, I don't know, like, what he's trying to do. Man didn't have any money. Man wasn't trying to buy anything. He was lost in the store. Like, this lady just lost her grandpa, her father, and he was lost, and I had to take care of him. Like, I'm not a nurse. Why am I having to deal with a senile old man? And like, I was like pretty pissed off for like a good 5 minutes, but I'm like, you know what? Whatever. It could have escalated. He wasn't an actual customer, and the interaction ended there.
Oof.
I'm sorry
You
we're
know?
all laughing, but I think at those points it just becomes like these situations just become comical. Like you have to laugh about it
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's so like the things that occur to us in those environments just like are sometimes like ridiculous, so you just kind of have to like laugh about it. But oh my gosh.
And that's what
Like
comes
at
with
least
being
we've
a
got a little
crazy.
bit of time away from it too, that we can laugh at it, because like,
Right?
girl, it's those circumstances that really, like, we went home and we're like, what the fuck just happened today? Working
Yeah.
with the
And I
general
will say
public.
this, and I will
I
say this. I will have dreams, or I don't know if it's we consider it
Yeah.
nightmares,
No, no, no,
but
yeah.
I haven't had one. I haven't had one in a
Yeah.
while, or at least like a year or two. But I used to dream about being there, and I like was folding or something or reorganizing or whatever, and I'm like, why am I dreaming about this?
Girl. Okay, so I speaking of dreams, right? I also had a dream, and it must have been while I was still doing retail too. You could be a cashier, but you could also do like go backs, so like fitting
Yeah,
room
Yeah.
type shit.
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I had just had a shift, like I think that Friday, about putting fitting room away, and it was like during the busy season, so we had like a Z rack, and so the
Yeah,
Z rack is like
Racks.
twice the rack of what would normally be at a fitting room, so that you can have
right.
space to like organize or whatever. I had a full dream, a full 8-hour dream of me putting back go backs. And I remember going through it because I felt I remember like the clothes felt heavy on my arm.
Oh
And I
gosh, yeah.
remember like looking at
like
the
I'm
piece
tired.
and like recalling, oh yeah, that was on that corner near Mrs. Okay, and I'm like running to Mrs. and putting it away. I had an entire dream. It must have been a nightmare. It must have been a nightmare because that bitch was not getting paid. I did not get paid to do that 8-hour shift in my head at all. And it was like it was such a normal dream, and that's what pisses me off about it, because I literally woke up tired and I had to go in and do what? A fitting room shift. It was like the universe was conspiring against me. I felt
Oh
duped,
god. Yeah.
led astray, bamboozled.
I would have called off after
Horrible.
that. Like, I already finished my 8 hour shift in my dreams. I'm sorry, guys.
Girl,
Oh my gosh.
I literally felt that way.
Yeah.
It's kind
Okay,
of
so there
amazing.
at that job, right? We had at least the jobs that I think like me, Christine, Marj, we worked right. There was like we started as cashiers, but you also have like she said fitting room. You worked a fitting room shift, and for the most part, you would get assigned like this like little rack. I don't know what, like 5 feet, the little one, right? Like 5 feet or
Mhm.
something, or less than 5 feet, and you were supposed to like organize the stuff that people didn't. Excuse me, that people didn't want to like, or the stuff that they didn't want or whatever. But during the holidays and stuff like that, it would
Yeah.
be an extremity amount, and they would pull out like a 12 foot. The C cart was like a 12 foot or something, or 10 feet or
Yep.
whatever. So and on top of it, it was doubled. Like there was a bar at the top, a bar at the bottom, and it was a whole. If you have, like I said, if you've ever worked retail, you might know these like terminology or what the stuff looks like.
Mhm.
I'm sorry, friend. I'm sorry,
Dude,
March.
it was tough. It was a tough shift in my head.
Oh my gosh. I think the one of the memories that I do remember for that time, because I do try to forget about that, is one of the very first, I think, shifts. I had just started working there, and it was probably around some like this time or whatever, right? It was like the fall or whatever, and leather coats, right? We know that leather coats are not going to be marked down. That it's not
Mhm.
going to
No.
have a sticker with like a low price, right?
Mhm.
No, even after the cold, like the Levi's and stuff, they don't get marked
Yeah,
down.
yeah. So I can remember I was at like checking somebody out, and they had brought up a leather coat, and it had a sticker on it. And of course, I probably inquired about it, and I asked like a lead to come down to like check on this, because obviously the person wanted to get it checked or whatever, right? That it was like not true, right? That it's not supposed to be like that price. So I had one of our like former managers, Rose, come down, and the guy was like being cordial, like at first, right? But then once the big boss, right? Once she came up and was like, no, like this is like an incorrect price or whatever, right?
Mm.
The shift in this person, like I remember him being so composed and just be like all of a sudden him just being like, you're such a bitch, like literally, right, like in front of her, like, you're such a bitch, Rose, da 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 da, Rose, like it was like eerily like scary. I
Mm-hmm.
remember other cashiers like around, and then like even some of the people that worked in, like in the merchandising, them even being like, what the hell is up with this dude, like where did this like shit it was obviously, we know, right, like he wasn't getting the answer that he wanted, so he just, it was like a whole 360 like Jekyll and Hyde kind of type of thing, like it was just, I I I, I just couldn't believe his like the way he was just kind of like belittling her, and it was obviously security came down and like, told him like go away, or
You need
made
to
him
leave.
or escorted him out or whatever, but it was just, yeah, guys, I don't know, I still I feel like whenever I go out, I do whatever it takes to like help these people out, because it obviously experiencing it, I always try to be like a little bit of a helping hand.
Mm.
I think one thing that is always like the joke that goes around is that you should work retail. Everybody should work retail at least once in their life
Everybody should, and I
to
agree with you.
Hmm.
understand
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Like at least in 3 solid months.
like
Yeah.
it's really one of those things where people just like have that disconnect and they just don't see you as
Yeah.
Yeah.
people sometimes.
They don't see you as
Um
Yeah.
people.
Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
talking to somebody about kind of scenarios like this where it really is one of those things where it's like you're so numb to like what's okay versus what's not okay.
After a
And you're like,
while,
Yeah.
oh, I just got screamed at for, 35 minutes over a pair of underwear. That's super
mm-hmm.
fun. And then everybody goes, you really shouldn't be having to deal with that. Like, what happened? Why didn't you have like a manager or security come? We're like, oh, well, because X, Y, and Z would happen, and it doesn't really matter. It happens all the time. And
Yeah.
it's wild because that stuff just shouldn't happen, but it does. So,
Right.
Mm.
There needs to be like better, and it should be with the stores and stuff. Like there needs to be better rules or whatever to like help people. Like we shouldn't, or not we, but like, they shouldn't have to be having to deal with that. Like nobody should be having to put up with that crap. Like
but and the reality is, at least nowadays, it wasn't as bad when we were doing a lot of this stuff, but
yeah.
the safety on some of this stuff, like to like say no to somebody or to try to shut somebody down sometimes. Like
Right.
I've seen like the security side of it. Not that I was in security, but like we've all seen how that stuff works. Like back when we had a restaurant that was by the place that we worked at,
Oh
where they
yeah.
had like
Mm.
drinking on New Year's Eve, and we were open till like almost midnight, and you
Mhm.
literally
Oh,
had
the
drunk
hours,
people
the
walking
hours.
around. You
Yeah.
know,
And I'm like, that's public intoxication. Like, get the fuck out of
yeah.
here.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
Mm.
local PD was, so slow to
Yeah.
come.
To get
Not
out.
that they weren't
Yeah.
willing to come, but the reality is of a lot of
Mm.
stuff. Like if you're going from the security side of it, like if they're not doing something super crazy, or if they're not like, so say it's like a theft thing, if it's under
Yeah.
a certain amount, they're not even gonna come. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
I,
reminds me. Okay, so when I was working, the majority of my retail shifts, it was mostly in the junior department. I've done many things. I've worn many hats. I've done many roles, but a
Yeah.
lot of my stories come from the junior department because that cashier rap was right by a main
The door.
The
entrance.
entrance.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like anywhere between like 17 and whatever 7+ years as after that. But I saw shanking.
Oh
I
my
saw
god,
I
Marj!
saw her shaking, bitch. I was like, I must have been like 19. I was like barely starting
Holy
like
crap.
college. I'm over here trying to wrap up for the night, just like getting all
Yeah.
my folds,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And all of a sudden, a fight breaks out. They're running around. They go right outside the door, and right outside the door, they decide to fucking have their little like shiv fight. and like
Jesus.
LP loss prevention's like coming over here trying to monitor what's going on. They get in the middle of it. One of the guys that worked at LP, mind you, this guy looks like he does computer shit. Like he, like he's not brolic. He's not, and he comes
Fucking nerd.
in guns a blazing. He's running. He's tackling. He gets a little fucking slice on his side here, trying to break up the shiv fight
I
outside.
remember this.
They call the police. I'm over here like, I'm just a baby. What did I just witness?
Luckily, the guy you're talking about was a paramedic, so at least he kind of
Oh.
had an awareness of like what to
Oh,
do.
okay. Yeah.
But
That's
I
horrible.
do remember he got nicked. He got a little collateral damage in that fight, but yeah, dude, I was like, what the fuck is happening? Or
if I remember
oh yeah.
correctly, the person that did the Shankadoodle Day was also high
Mhm.
on drugs, like high to the sky,
Oh,
is
dude.
what I got told.
Ooh.
So it was like
Tea.
he was like on meth or something, and
Jesus.
was it a man or it might have been what doesn't really matter. But the person was like, whatever the drug was, it was like giving them extra strength where they probably
Oh
wouldn't have had that
no.
strength. So that was back
Oh,
when
I did not
law
know that.
enforcement could do more.
Do stuff,
Yeah.
yeah.
They restricted the rules.
Yeah.
It was one of those where I don't know if she had
Like
broken
you have
like,
to
a
open
hip
it
or something like
inside?
that.
Oh.
But the main thing was there was something else going on because she had vomited up like a lot of blood.
Oh
Like,
my
Oh my gosh.
god.
a lot of blood. So like obviously I'm calling the ambulance and this older lady is literally going, and you feel your heart for her, but at the same point I'm like, I'm gonna call the ambulance for you if you're literally like vomiting up blood.
Right.
And she's
Right.
going, no, I don't have insurance over here. Don't call them. Like I don't really want to go. And I'm like, you're fallen, maybe broken a hip. You've got blood. The gentleman that was an LP came over because again he was a paramedic. So he came in here and he's literally telling this poor lady, he's like, you have, like, I can't not call like, you have to
Right.
go.
Right.
And then
Right.
obviously the paramedics say the same thing. But, obviously we don't know what happens to these people when stuff like that happens. But,
Afterwards. Yeah.
like, that's traumatic for me. Again, I'm kind of like
Yeah.
Marj, where I'm like maybe 20, 19, when
Yeah.
21 at the most of when this stuff is happening.
Yeah.
And it's not like the first time like I saw that happen, and like then you got to worry about cleanup, which isn't my job, but the poor cleaning people, like they're not hazmat
Yeah.
people either.
Wait, what are you talking about? Like, are you talking about when you witnessed someone fall down the escalator?
Oh, that
Or
one,
no? Or
No.
that
No.
one was fine.
No.
That was
Somebody-
so traumatizing. Do you guys remember? I remember like seeing like two kids fall off the escalator.
No.
Mind you,
fell
they
into the
were
jewelry
fine.
department.
Yeah, they were fine, but they literally fell like completely off the fucking
Yeah.
escalator, like fell a floor down, and then they just bounced back up. That was
Dude.
traumatizing as hell.
I'll tell you what, the
The thing-
biggest time
let's-
I was a
let's set up
narc. Okay.
Let's set a description. This store was a 2-story
Mhm.
store. Escalator going up, escalator going down. The escalator going down right was the one that was like right next to the jewelry department, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
had a opening where it went from basically that top there where there was the kids department.
Right.
Yeah.
There was the top section where the kids would like play on, when it would go up and they'd put their hands in it, but there was an opening right past that. And then there was a
Mhm.
jewelry wall and like jewelry, and they had some wall stuff, and then you'd go past it and there would be more open space. Luckily, both of these kids, when they put their hand in, because mom's checking out or whatever, not paying attention,
Right.
and they got hooked in it and slid, and they fell right onto the carpet. There's jewelry, like, and people, like, they don't understand. There's jewelry cases down there that are full glass.
Yeah.
If he had fallen on any of that
Just the
wall
wrong way.
piece,
Right.
like, he would have been seriously injured. And that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
one of the
see,
things where it's like, hey kid, you're gonna that escalator
Yeah.
kills people.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was trying to say. Like, the one time in my life, I'm a narc. I'm a bitch. I'm gonna tell on you to your mom. It was when I was working juniors because that escalator was right towards juniors. I could see a perfect view. And because it was the escalator going down, what do
Right.
kids love to do? Run up
Slide.
the down
Oh.
escalator,
Oh
Oh yeah,
yeah.
that
right?
too.
They
That too.
love to run
Mm-hmm.
up the down escalator and see how
Like
far
trying
they
to
can
make it all the way to
get.
the top.
Yeah, right, right,
Yeah.
right. If that was it was like I had a spidey sense because the second I fucking and I was like, get down from there. And I was like, you're gonna get hurt. Like, you know how many times I've seen people get hurt? Like, I was a mom. And
That
This
was
then,
isn't
just
a
no,
joke.
no, no. Because what's worse is that the mama would come out of nowhere. The mama bear would come out of nowhere while she was eyeing accessories or men's or wherever she was around that area. She'd pop her head out the second I start yelling at her kid, right? And she's like, don't you start yelling at my kid. Da, 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 da. I was like, well, watch
Mm-hmm.
your kid then. I'm 17 years old. I gotta watch your kid for you. I'm a kid myself.
This ain't no free babysitting gig.
Bitch,
That's
I wouldn't have to
yeah,
yell at your kid if you kept an eye on your kid. Oh
between
my
that
god.
and
I
then the
wanted to.
people taking their strollers down, their walkers
Oh my God,
Yeah,
yes, I
they
Yeah,
hate
those
loved,
that.
they
strollers.
loved, and mind
Strollers?
you, we had an elevator in the store, and my
Mind
Right.
you,
kids
the store
loved
is
doing
not
that.
that big. Mind you, the
Yeah,
store
Right.
was not that
Right.
big of a store. You could walk all the way to the elevator. What? I just didn't understand that
I
shit,
never
dude.
understood them.
And then on top of it, the elevator was not that far from the down
No, it
escalator.
wasn't.
But
It's like
yeah, you know
10
what I
feet
mean?
apart.
too.
Right. Right. My gosh. Did I feel like once they got carts, like that was a thing too, right? Like we
Mhm.
got that.
Yeah, the little shopping carts. I'm
Yeah.
like, what is everyone's obsession with trying to go up there? Like, I think I saw someone trying to do it with a fucking wheelchair one time. I'm just like, why can't you use the elevator? I just never got it. It's
It's
so
just wild.
frustrating.
Like,
We're
moral of
saying
the
we're
story,
just saying
kids,
this.
anybody that's listening, escalators, death traps. These
Yeah.
Yeah.
can be broken.
Man.
Those teeth are metal. I saw them like
Hmm.
Right.
elderly
You.
gentlemen get messed up from them.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Anyway, sorry that
We're
turned from horror
saying
stories, safety
this.
stories.
Yes, we're saying this because we've have experienced people getting hurt, and we're trying to
Right.
prevent people from getting hurt in these scenarios, because obviously as a kid you're like, this is fun, I don't care. I
No.
didn't see. I think Christine was the one that said it. Like but I didn't see the person that got stuck at the escalator. And I'm like, and good thing I didn't see that person get stuck, because I
Dude,
would have been traumatized.
More
I've seen
trauma.
some little kids, yeah, stumble going up those stairs and like
Ugh.
damn near get caught right there where the
Teeth meet.
escalator meets like
Mhm.
the ending of the
Yeah.
escalator or whatever.
Like where
I
it sucks in the band.
Me
Yeah,
as an
dude.
adult is cautious about that. Like I get nervous. I even have to be like, okay, let me like step at this right,
Bitch, because I
everywhere.
was with
So
my ankle brace too, dude. I had to hop into the escalator. I was fucking shitting and pissing every single time. So I'm gonna miss. I'm gonna fucking mess
Well,
up my
it's
ankle
the
even more.
little adults that are doing these strollers, these carts, these walkers, all these things. And the thing that kills me
Yeah.
is I'm like, if they were, especially the wheelchair people, and if they had asked, if for some reason, like the regular elevator was full or something, you don't
Hmm.
doubt that one of us wouldn't have taken down that. I mean, even though it looked like a saw elevator sometimes, the one in
Yeah.
the back.
Oh my god, we had a
Yeah.
back elevator, and I will say
Mhm.
I got stuck in the back elevator. Like we had a back elevator, and I remember we would take freight up and down, and sometimes it'd be a little wonky, and it would stop
yeah,
halfway, and you would have to like press the button and like hope you weren't really stuck in there. And I
yeah.
remember one time I was in there. I don't know if you guys remember our coworker. She was like, "What if I jump?" And they're all ha ha ha, and they jumped in the elevator and it stopped. As soon as they
Mm-mm.
landed, it stopped. And I was like terrified. I'm like, these bitches are gonna get me stuck in here. And we're over here like pressing the button, and it finally like drops us down. But that elevator was like so old. We would come and we would get repairs, but it was to the point where I'm like, are they even making these parts anymore? Like that's how old
Yeah.
that elevator was.
Hmm. All
Don't
right,
even
girl.
dream
Then
that.
let me bring something up to the table because this is now something that we could all talk about, really. Because at least I was working in the back with both Monica and Blanca. Christine, I think you were in your Sephora world at the time. So listen. I did my fair share of customer first interactions, right? So I did a lot of time with like just being customer service, talking to
Mm-hmm.
people, being a
Same.
cashier, being on the
Mm-hmm.
floor, all that. I moved into doing the backroom stuff because I didn't want to talk to people anymore.
She was sick of it.
Honestly, I was sick of it. Honestly, so I was like, you know what? You
Yeah.
know what I'm really good
Same.
at?
Same.
Folding and putting things away and breaking shit down. And I'm strong, so I can I can get these boxes down. I can move these
And
boxes, whatever, right?
yeah, mind you, if you were doing freight, you got to go all over the store. You know, if you're a
Right.
cashier,
Yeah.
you're stuck in your department.
It
Yeah.
was a nice project, I guess, to do like for the mornings, right? The time would
Exactly.
go
And then it
fast.
was
I enjoyed
it
it.
was an early in the day where most of that shift took place was like before the store
Before,
opened, before
yeah, so it
customers
was really nice. Granted, I'm not a morning person, but I'd have to be there by like 6 in the morning. But
Hmm.
I'd be out of there by like noon or 1 or 2 or whatever. Pretty nice.
came. Yeah.
Anyway, me, Monica, Blanca are working this backroom shift. We get a manager her for let's call her a different name. Let's call her the Northern Lights because you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no Northern Lights is a good
This
description.
lady's called the Northern Lights, all right? And she's kind of cool. I'm kind of fucking with her. Like she's kind of down to earth. She's kind of like she speaks my language. She's not that much older than me. Maybe say like 8 years. You know, we're
Yeah.
kind of there.
More than eight.
You
More
know,
than
We
eight
were
years,
like
but go
in our
on.
probably more than
no,
eight
we were
years.
in like our early 20s. She was, I think, in her
Yes.
30s.
Late
Yeah, you
30s,
know,
40,
like
early 40s, something like that. Yeah.
maybe. I guess I just always thought of her as like
She was
not
a person
too
that
much
would,
older than me.
yeah. No, it's because
Okay.
she would talk
Okay.
You
to
know,
us like a regular person. You know, it
like a
wasn't like
homie, like
manager.
a yeah, like a
Yeah,
friend. Like she would level
exactly.
with us, right? She would level with
Yeah.
us, which I liked. I enjoyed. So I always kind of sort of liked her. I was like, yeah, she's cool, whatever, right? There came a time when I was just like either I was working too much at my other job or I like was in
Mm-hmm.
school or whatever, so I wasn't around as much. I come back, all of a sudden she's gone, and there's whispers, and I'm like, what happened while I was gone? And they're like, oh, it's because Northern Lights was doing this, Northern Lights was doing that. Like, she was using the freight elevator in the back. And I was like, she was doing what? Like, she always to me felt holier than thou or whatever. Like, I felt like she had very
Yeah.
strong,
She was
like,
doing. Wait, wait,
she
wait.
had
She was using the
very,
freight elevator for what? I want to know
She
because
was
I didn't
doing
know this.
all
oh, this is
sorts
not
of
tea that
stuff.
you know?
Like
I want to know. Tell
I was
Like
me.
there when it
what
happened.
what I knew
Okay,
from Northern Lights was she was like stealing. That's what I knew
Yes,
from her.
yeah.
exactly what
She
I.
was
So,
she was
like,
stealing like big ticket items.
She
Yeah.
so
was
this
stealing
was
the
her
Nike right thing
system,
up
right?
front.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, okay, to like give you my perception of this lady, right? She was cool. She was rather young. She talked to me like a normal person. You know, like
Right.
it looked like she could have been a little bit hood. Like she could have came from the hood. Who
Yeah,
knows, right?
definitely
Yeah,
was.
but she was very down to earth, and I was fucking with her energy, whatever. I come back, she's gone, and like they don't have a replacement for her. There's like so it was very abrupt. And I'm like,
Right.
ah, shit, something went down. What happened? I go to asking
Mm-hmm.
around. You know, I know my sources. I be getting information. And turns out this lady was using her position as the lead engineer, not lead engineer, sorry, lead manager of like
The
the unloading of the
backstop.
truck, right? So we get a truck
Yeah.
in the morning. We get first view of what the store is like getting for that
Mm-hmm.
day, for what products or whatever. She would go and pick out the best products, the Nike shoes, the Nike clothes, the sports
The
stuff, whatever,
Levi's.
the Levi, whatever it was. It was always
Mm-hmm.
shoes and like clothes or something like that, if I remember correctly. And she would put it all in a bag as if she had paid for it. And she would leave it on the side by the freight elevator as if she had bought it. It had her name on it, whatever, right? Sometimes we put our stuff in the bag every once in a while or whatever, but
Like
we're not
save
supposed
before
to.
we pay.
Yeah, we're not supposed to though.
Yeah.
She
Right.
had put all that stuff aside. Apparently, she had been shoveling out so much merch that they kept tabs on her enough to fire that girl. They were keeping tabs
Mhm.
on all the stuff she was moving out of there because there's cameras everywhere.
Right. You know how I found out? I was working that day.
Oh,
And
were you?
the maintenance person came up to Blanca. Were you with me when that happened?
I think I was. I think I was
Like
there that day.
so she comes up to us and she was just
She's like asking around.
yeah, she was just like, I just saw this. And I was like, what are you? I literally could not believe it because I was like, whoa, 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 whoa. What are you talking
Yeah,
about?
like
She's
we
like,
were in shock.
I think she was like from what I remember, because this was a couple years back, was like the main person said, I saw her in handcuffs and she got taken out.
Yeah, that's
And I
what I
was
had
Oh,
like,
I
heard.
didn't see it, but like, yeah, I just
Like she
heard
got
so
about it.
no,
arrested,
I
arrested.
right.
Yeah,
And I was like, what are you? I'm like, we were just working with her. We probably were just talking with her like a couple of
Yeah.
hours ago, maybe even minutes ago or whatever. And I was like, what do you mean?
yeah, it
I
was
was like
crazy.
shocked, like
And
shocked.
like
And
what made it real for me was that also like anyone who lives in knows about the patch. If you get arrested, they're gonna put
yes,
you on the patch. Her
yes,
fucking photo on the patch
yes,
right the next day. I was like,
yeah.
holy fucking shit, it's
Dude, I
real.
had that shit
And
pulled up and ready to
I
go. I was like, where is
I
she?
remember somebody. I think she said
Guys,
that,
you
like
don't
somebody
even
said that somebody.
understand how much it was.
I knew what you. No, no, no. I found out
Talk
that.
to us about
So
it.
yeah, but tell us about it. But
How much
there was
was
an
it?
additional thing that I found out that
Oh.
was
Yeah,
also like a
well,
thing.
See, I know that.
first of all, I had known she had been doing like kind of shady stuff for a
Shady
while,
stuff. Mm-hmm.
and then
Mhm.
when it turned out and escalated, but you're looking at not even just thousands of dollars, like multi
Mm.
thousands of dollars.
Mm.
And then she was
Like,
doing a lot of like time thefty things where
Oh, I didn't know that
she
either.
would just dip her end of her day or like and use the clock downstairs. She's like 98% of the reason why no one could clock out downstairs anymore or clock out at registers. Because of some of the stuff that she was
Mm.
doing. But it was like a lot of money. A
Yeah,
lot of money.
but I also heard that besides that, she was also like giving her discount out to people, and that's
Yeah,
like a big
that
no no in like
too. Yeah, yeah.
retail, is that like, so she was giving out her discount. She was also like, one time she was checking somebody out, she was marking things down to like, I don't know, to like a penny, to like a dollar, to like
Mhm.
whatever the quantity. We're talking about like, I'm gonna say like Levi jeans. Like Levi jeans are good. I don't know. You all tell me. I don't remember now. Like
Back then
40,
it was
45,
even it was
50,
still
40,
like
45,
50 bucks.
50.
yeah.
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 So she was marking them down either for cents or marking them down like really, really cheap. And we're talking about a purchase that's probably what, I don't know, like thousands of dollars or whatever, was probably going to be less than that or whatever. So she was
I had
also
heard the same. Yeah. Where she, for
like,
example, like if it was like a $50 pair of Levi jeans, brand new
yeah,
off the truck, she
yeah,
would have a friend come in or something and purchase big amounts of clothes, and
right,
she herself,
yep,
because we're in charge when we do the truck, a lot of us are
yeah,
also in charge of marking things down and scanning things, right?
right,
Yeah.
She would
right,
take the $1.97 stickers and put it on those Levi jeans, and she would get her friend to like, she would ring out her
Come
friend,
and shop.
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And
yeah.
her friend would be purchasing like, I don't know how
And
many
and
pairs of
mind you, if like
$1.97
the
jeans.
item isn't marked down, it
You
won't
have to
come.
go in.
It won't come. Like you
You have to manually do
systematically
it.
have to input the new
She
Hmm.
price.
would have to override it. Like she would
Yeah.
literally have to go in and override it because the item is going to ring out as 40,
Original.
$50 or whatever,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
then that's how LP, I
Crazy
heard, caught
considering they
her.
have reporting for that.
Right, that's what I'm saying. That's how LP kind of, I don't know if it was one of the reasons or one of the flags that were raised that they were starting to keep track of her, but they were like,
Yeah.
it's weird that all these jeans are brand new and they're $1.97 now, because that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And all of a
Right.
sudden, you're also
Right.
using your associate. She was dumb enough to use her own associate discount
And that's what I was
while
gonna
she
say. We
herself
all
was
have our
ringing up this
numbers.
process for
Right.
Which
for
you can't
someone,
do
for her
anyway.
friend.
Right. You can't ring out like your family, even like your friends was like a touchy, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It was like frowned upon. I know some people would do it, but I'm like, one thing is buying something and using your 25% discount. Another thing is like systematically inputting it for $1.95.
Yeah.
Yeah. She just did like all three of those all at once. Like,
And that's
It was a lot
insane.
of things. It was a
yeah.
lot of things. I just remember, like I said, I just remember being like shocked about it because I was like, no, I didn't believe it because I was like, what are you talking about? This person, mind you, this person was friends with one of the like former store managers. Like that store manager
Yeah.
That's how she
essentially
got that job.
put her into
Yeah.
that job. Like she started off as like a smaller scale or a smaller position, whatever you want to call it. And then that manager essentially maneuver her like so that she was able to get promoted, like because she wasn't at our store like that long, and all of a
Not at
sudden she
all.
got like promoted to
It kind of
that
felt
position.
like an op situation because she was a regular associate working in the back with us for like 2 weeks, and then it was
No, it
like,
was even before that.
oh, are you serious? It was
Yeah,
like,
because
oh,
she was working
surprise.
in like home or something. Like she was
Yeah.
working on the floor, and then all of a sudden, exactly what Blanca was saying. Go ahead, Blanca. Sorry.
Yeah, like all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, yeah, she's working back here. I know, like, what do you guys think of her?" And we're like, "Yeah, she's cool. You know, I like working with her."
Yeah.
And then
Mm-hmm.
they drop the bomb. "Oh, well, good thing you like her because she's gonna be your like new
Your
manager, new
manager. Yeah.
supervisor."
Yeah.
And I didn't say anything because
Right.
she was good. Like, she was not just good at
A
stealing;
hard.
she was good
She
at
was a hard worker.
manipulating
No, no,
people.
right. But she seemed like. I mean, she seemed like she was a hard worker. I don't
I
know,
don't think
but
she was though. Like her clocking out, doing the time theft.
She
Like
did a
I
lot
think
of
she.
she's
smoke
just
and mirrors.
she's a
Mm.
real good talker. She's a really good sweet talker because we all liked her.
Yeah.
I just remember I got called into the office because obviously there was a point where I had to like step up or whatever, kind of step up or whatever, and I was kind of leading the back of the team or whatever. Right, everybody respected me because I had been there for years or whatever. And I remember getting in the office by Northern Lights and another manager, and they basically were like, "You need to step down. Like you need
Although you're
to."
doing too much.
Yes in the or you need to, I don't know, you yeah, essentially like doing too much, or you need to almost like put in a good word with the rest of the team because people are respecting you, so you need to like back off kind of type of thing. And they were like, well, we can kind of try to like, mind you, I wasn't trying to be a lead, I wasn't trying to be a manager or anything or supervisor or whatever. It just like, if shit's
I
falling
mean,
apart,
you
you have
you
to
kind
step
of
in to make your job.
A
naturally have
natural
these like
leader.
leadership
Yeah.
qualities, yeah, because yeah, like you said, right, the second shit starts to fall apart and you see
Right.
that no one whose actual responsibility is supposed to manage this,
Mm-hmm.
you do have that self like agency to be like, all right, then I guess I'll step in. Okay, you do this, you do that. You
Right.
start delegating because like shit's blowing up, right?
Right,
That's
right. It's like
crazy.
I always say that it's to like make your job, like to make our job easier, because why would we come in to struggle? Like, so we have to step in and do something. And
Yeah.
then they were like, oh, well, we like, I remember she literally was like, oh, well, we can find you like something else to like to call yours, like you can be like the gift card girl where you go around in your own little cart and you so
What a
stupid.
sell! What a
Shit,
sell!
So
what
stupid.
can
You
I make
go
him do
around
with?
each register. We like assign like a couple hours, like maybe once a week, and you come in and you go through all the registers and you like make sure that all the slots are filled, and it looks beautiful and this and that or whatever.
How did you feel about that? Because I would have
I
been
would
like,
have
you're
felt
trying to give me a pacifier, bitch. They
the
say, here, baby, have this
I
little
disrespect.
binky.
mean, I just remember like I don't know. I never like really like confrontation. And it just felt like almost
Like a
I don't
slap in
know.
the face.
Yeah, it was like it felt like a slap in the face. It was very like disoriented. I don't even know what to say, but it was just off. I was like, what the hell? Like the thing was that people had such a good rapport with me and respected me. So it was hard, like it was
Mm,
like she was having a hard time coming in and getting the respect or getting people to follow under her lead, if that
to
makes
listen,
sense.
right? Yeah.
Mm,
That
Mm.
kind of reminds me, like, Monica, like I said, you've always been very much. You knew how to do your job. I think we all knew how to do our job. But, like, if
yeah.
someone new came in, like, you would be like, hey, like,
They would
that's
put
not how it should be done.
First of all, they would
You
put
know?
me to train
Yeah,
people. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like
yeah,
I was
exactly.
already there. Okay, so I'll say this: I was at this location for almost 8 years, and also started off, like I said, cashier. I did that for almost like 3 years or something, 3.5 years or something, and then I transitioned to merchandising because I was over it. Like I was with the customers
Mhm. Mhm.
and having to push people to get credit cards. I was totally against that. Like, and it was before like a incentive of like having to get like 4 a month or 5 a month, and then they like doubled it, and I was like, I'm done trying to do this. I don't like it ethically. I don't like it. Whatever.
Mhm.
So I moved on to merchandising, and then I did merchandising for like whatever the rest of the remainder of those years. And yeah, I was like, I started off kind of whatever, and then I was that person, that leader people like trusted or confided in or whatever. Go ahead,
because we
Blanca.
had because we had our crew, our original
Yes.
crew, and I think if you worked there like a year plus, you knew what to do. The
Yeah.
job
Mhm.
itself was not hard as long as you were a hard worker, like or like just you stuck to your shit. You could do it. You got
Right.
there.
Right.
You knew I'm either gonna be in the back or I'm gonna be on the floor.
Right.
But then we would get new people, and like if you're there a year plus or whatever, like you're the senior, you're gonna train those people. And I just remember some people hated Monica because like she would tell them what to do. And it's like I know she's not the manager in the back, but if they literally assigned her as to teach you, like what do you mean she's going to obviously tell you what to do cuz you don't know what to do. And
Mm-hmm.
I know there was like these two ladies, these two older ladies, and I just feel like they had a bone to pick with Monica because she was so much younger than them.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they're just like, well, you're not the boss of me.
Yeah.
Monica was not trying to be the boss.
I got called into the office for that too. Like somebody reported me, or they reported me, and they essentially like, yeah, that's what. And it was over. It was so weird because it was over. We were doing markdowns, so we were doing markdowns, and they were like new to it and stuff like that. And I don't know. I never felt like I don't think I ever treated anybody badly. I think I do have a strong personality, and I'm pretty loud. I don't yell at people. I'm pretty strong, and I'm gonna be honest. Like some people just don't like it. They just don't like it. Like I'm like my true authentic self, and to some people that might come off as like harsh or whatever it is. But and people don't like, and I'm like, and that's okay. But I'm gonna be me, or I'm gonna say it how it is, or whatever. Or I'm gonna tell you how it is. And yeah, that exactly happened. And I also got not in trouble, but I also got talked to about that. And I'm like, I didn't even do anything wrong. And I'm like, and then on top of it, why aren't okay? So you're like bringing me into for this. Why aren't you talking to the rest of the team? Because it wasn't
Mhm.
just, excuse me, it wasn't just like two, like three people or whatever, right? It was like a team of maybe 7, 8, 9, whatever people doing this as a group or whatever.
I just remember because of the clearance. I remember one interaction, and this also involves Monica. I remember we were doing clearance, okay, and like we would get first dib of the clearance. Sometimes it was good. Like you found good
Oh
shit.
yeah,
You're like,
Yeah.
we're not supposed to put it to the side, but I'm like, I'm keeping this with me, and
yeah.
then I'm checking out.
97 cents, a dollar
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
97. Like
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Like if I found a good deal, like when you're working at that store, I couldn't give up a single piece of clothing. Okay, like if it was $1, I'm taking it home. Do I
Dude,
need a
even if it was a
30-inch
color I
tank top?
didn't
another.
I didn't even like the
Yeah.
color, but I'm like, but that's fine.
Yes.
97 cents.
Like I will say, if you work in retail, like you
You
become a
should.
shopping addict. Yeah. Like you don't need shit, but you're gonna buy that shit because it's cheap.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
saving it for
yeah.
Christmas. I'm saving it for birthdays. Maybe someone's gonna have a baby. Like I'm just saving
You
everything.
never know.
But yeah, but we were marking down some winter boots. I think it was summertime, so they were really cheap. And
Yeah.
Monica, I don't remember if it was your size or for your mom, but I remember you had marked them down. And there was another lady, and she's like, they're my size. And she wanted the boots. And she was literally fighting Monica for these fucking boots. And she
I
got
remember
upset.
this.
Yeah, and she got upset that you wouldn't give her the boots. She was like butthurt for like a whole 2 weeks that you took the boots home and that you bought them because they were her size. And I will never forget that because she was so cool with us. But as soon as she can't
Who
have
was
those
it?
clearance boots,
Who was it?
Sandy Cheeks. You don't remember her?
No.
She was an it was an older lady as well. I don't want to actually say her name because I liked her. She
Nope.
was cool. But
Sandy
but the moment she did that to Monica, I was like, "Are you serious? You're really gonna like cause this much of a tiffy because you can't have some clearance boots?"
And let me tell you, Sandy Cheeks, that might be the boots that are sitting right outside.
And she's like, and I get the use out of them, and I've been wearing them for 10 years.
I just remember feeling like, what the fuck do you want me to say? Like, she wanted
Oh
us
my god.
to team up against you, and I'm like, she marked them. If I had marked them, they're mine.
Yeah. Oh my god.
First come, first serve, bitch.
Yeah.
Do you remember what they looked like or no?
They were like tall, like I will say like calf riding boots. I think they were like
Mhm.
brown or black, but like they were nice boots,
Oh,
you know?
I know. I have them.
sound
I
like
think
the
they're in my
AA
storage. Yeah, something like that.
Like they were nice, but I don't think it was worth fighting for. Like we would get a pretty good discount. We got 25% off. We'd use
20
coupons around friends and family. Like
Girl, you would
you
have
could
thought it
take
was
some
Jimmy
moves
Choo's.
home.
at that point, you could get like stuff that was clearance and used your discount, or even with coupons, like you could use coupons. It was like the discount, a coupon, your associate's discount. It was like there'd be time you would be coming home with like a bag of things for like $20. You know what I mean? So.
And I felt so accomplished. Like I've never gotten a high like I did when I got like a pair of Nike for $5. You know, like holy cow!
She said, "Treat yourself."
Like, it's just imagine those extreme couponer shows. That's the same feel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
That was us. We were living the dream.
Dude, and on the receipts, it would show you all the money that you saved.
Oh,
Girl,
God,
oh, dude, I'd be snorting that shit. I was like, hell yeah! How much money did I save? $150.
Framing that receipt.
Girl, and I was making nothing back then either. So I was like, every penny counts.
But how much money did we not pour back into the store?
Yeah.
Think about that.
Too much. Too many $1.97 shirts that I no longer wear. I know I didn't even take off the tags for, because I bought them for a color way that I didn't even like. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I could experiment.
It was not worth the 2 cent raise everybody got.
Yeah.
Oh, every year you got your like
Oh my
5
God.
cents.
Don't share this with any. I remember being like, don't share this with anybody.
Yeah.
It's like 15 cents or something. Damn, I'm gonna get bought over 15 cents.
You would have, because everybody else got a dime, okay?
Oh my
Like
God.
we would have came and we would have beat you
I
up.
think the only time the reason why I got a little bit of a pay bump was because I left to like go study abroad in England, and then I came back and they knew I was good, and I was able to kind of like leverage that. That was the only
Girl,
reason.
okay, yeah. Let me tell you what too, because they try to fucking jip me. All right. Because I was working there for forever. They knew me already. My entire family line is my mommy, my brother, my cousin. Like, my mom put us in, all right? Like, she has her connections. She was working fucking 30 years. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming from family, all right? I show up. I go away to school, mind you, all right? So, like, I'm over here trying to better my life, trying to advance. I'm trying to get an education. I come back. I had just gotten a pay bump right before I left. So I was like, oh, I finally, like, girl, mind you, I'm coming from before the minimum wage was $7.25, right? I showed up a pure 17-year-old making $7 an hour, working my way up, trying to hustle, trying to get those credit cards, because every credit card was an extra $2 on my paycheck. Like, I was hustling, I was grinding. I get all the way up to $12 an hour through pure willpower and sweat and tears and blood. And I go away to college. I get another job, but I still want to work because they needed me, and I felt needed, and I felt like, you know what, I could work 2 jobs. You know, I'm here to get this grind. I'm here to make as much money as I can before I go to school, because I'm broke in school anyway. Those bitches wanted to give me $2 less. I said, what are you talking about? $2 less? What are you talking about? $10? I left this place at $12 an hour. What are you talking about? $10? They're like, yeah, but did you? Yes, I did. I can show you my pay stubs. I can literally go online right now. What are you talking about? You can see it. I know you can see it. Yeah, but like, I don't know. Could you do $10 an hour? We really need you. No, I cannot do.
You can say like store manager, hiring manager, whatever you want to say.
Let's call her Marble.
I don't know.
was she the store manager? Who was
She
she?
she
No, it was
was,
the
I
HR
think, a
person.
hiring manager or something at the time.
Okay.
She's done many hats around the store or whatever, but
Okay.
at that time, I think she was in charge of hiring and stuff like that. And I think this was the first time me seeing her as a hiring manager when I came back. But she tried
Okay.
to jip
Well,
me,
they
dude, and I was like, I'm not fucking. What are you talking about? You're gonna dock me $2 and then still tell me you're a great worker. We need you.
well,
Hmm.
and if they weren't approved to be able to give you that wage, then I guess it really should have just been that she should have been honest
I
from the
had to go talk
Now,
to
Being
the.
the
To
store
the
now I
manager.
kind of feel bad because I just got hired at $10.
Well, that's what
Like,
the minimum wage
what do you
like
mean?
changed. Like it didn't adjust for anybody else.
Yeah.
yeah.
I think when I started, it was like, I think maybe like 9 something at that
And
point.
this is why I
I
feel
was
like
like
everyone
ten
should do
whole
retail,
dollars.
because why was I 20 years old or 21 years old fighting for my life? Why was I fighting for my livelihood? Why did I have to go all the way up the chain to the store manager, me as a little 20-year-old, like, can you please pay me $12? I need it.
Well, I
Please.
think that should have been a discussion between the hiring person and then the the store manager.
I
Well,
can't afford
and
my
I will
food.
say from the corporate standpoint, like they probably weren't willing to give a lot, but yeah, you went to the right person.
That was that was a
approved it,
lot
too.
because when I came back from England, I think I had asked for 12, and then he was like, let me meet you like halfway or something. So it was like
Guys,
Yeah, they did not
halfway
I
in
give
the
worked
sense
there
of like 11. I don't remember if it was like 11.25 or 11.50 or something.
Listen, I worked there like 5+ years, and I think I got to 12. Okay, I started at 10 and I got
Yeah.
to 12. Like it was sad.
Yeah, I mean, eventually they gave it to me or whatever, but it's because
Yeah,
it didn't make
sure.
any sense. I'm just like,
It,
why
it
would I
didn't.
then take
Like a
less
demotion at that
than when
point.
I
Yeah.
left? You literally,
Mhm.
they try to shove managerial positions my way at least 2 or 3 times. I'm like, I'm good. I was like,
Right.
marble, marble, marble. You've seen me since I was a child. What are you talking about, marble? Vouch for me, girl. Help me out. She didn't. I had to go fight for myself. Why was I fighting for myself at 20 years old? I was nothing but a baby. I'm still a baby.
Listen, everybody was looking out for themselves. That was the thing, okay?
That was
There was a lot of
crazy.
politics in that
Yeah.
store.
Dude,
And
I
I will
was.
say we've had horrible management. You guys
Yeah.
don't remember like there was a girl who would literally show up, clock in. Okay, she'd show up, clock in, and then like close the door and sit in her office and do her makeup for like an hour.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
And she
you're
had the
bitching at me?
audacity to report me when I was first starting working there. And mind you, it was like a complete shift for me. I went from working like, you know, like 8 a.m. or whatever to like, and having to close
6.
and stuff like that to having to be up at 6 or 5 or whatever. I got pulled
Mhm.
in and I was getting in trouble that I wasn't doing my job and stuff. Mind you, I was like starting. Obviously, now they can laugh about it because I'm like, then I became like one of the best workers on that damn truck. But yeah, her and pulled me in, and I was like, and around that time too, like I that was like close to the time like my godmom had passed away. I remember um like one time being in the back stock room and maybe looking a little sad or something, and then asking me and being like, "What's wrong?" And then I started to say, and I was like started to cry. And he like almost like shut me up, like kind of type of thing, like, "Oh no, it's okay," kind of type of thing. But then I had heard that like I guess his like mom had passed away, like I don't know, within those last couple years, so he was like very sensitive about it. So yeah.
They just never did well with not like disciplinary stuff, but like any time that it was there was a problem, everything always got like got passed off to whoever like was next down the chain. Like people
Yeah.
got thrown under the bus all the time.
Yeah, I'm
That was
sure.
a huge pastime in certain places there.
There's
And
like a
also,
lot of favoritism, you know? I will
well,
say
I don't
that.
feel like it started like that. Like once we had like the best, like to me, the best like managers that we had in that store at what point, for at least for the truck side, was literally like Kelly and Rachel. Like that team, like I
Yeah.
felt like truck was just like everything was so
Yeah.
much easier. Like they were so strong and they had their stuff together and they were such good leaders that it
Yeah.
was just easy under
Literally,
Like,
them.
I
I
think
loved Kelly
working
to
for
death.
Kelly, yeah, working for Kelly,
I
I
will
was
say
like, Kelly,
Kelly was
whatever you
the
want from me,
she was the
I'm
only one that
yours.
stood up for us. I remember
Yeah.
one time we were doing inventory, and like they would hire anyone to come do our inventory, okay? It was people literally just like
Yeah.
hired for that week or whatever
Yeah.
and to
Yeah.
come work with us.
The
And some of
contract
them
work.
were like, yeah, some of them were like, they suck. Like they were over here trying to fight with us. And I remember one time, yeah, there was like a whole interaction, and I went up to Kelly and I'm like, I don't know what this person's problem is. Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to, count the stuff, like help them out, and they're like being rude. And she went up there and she was like, hey, like you guys need to work like together with us. If you're not gonna work, then you can just clock out. And I'm like, she was the only one that ever stood up for us. Okay, I loved Kelly.
Yeah, dude.
What I liked the most about Kelly, because we were contemporaries in a sense at that point, is
Yeah.
regardless of all the crazy shit that was happening in the background, she never let it like get to you guys. Like it never
Yeah.
affected you, because there've been other managers where there's been a lot of bullshit, but then it trickled down. Like
Right.
Mm.
Right.
like I won't name names, but there was one manager that had a lot going on in her home life and then started to take it out on workers, like her employees,
Mm.
stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where but she always made sure she had that productive bubble for you guys. I mean, I know all the BS and stuff that was going on, and
Yeah.
regardless, like she should have gotten her own store like years and years and years ago, but they
Yeah.
She was
Dude,
the
and
best.
she was making a hell of a commute too,
Yeah,
because
it
she
was
wasn't
like
even
an
living
hour
in.
here, an
She
hour
wasn't living in
back.
state. Yeah.
Yeah, she was
Mhm.
living out of
Mhm.
state. She was
Mhm.
only supposed to be there not even for that long. Like the promise was like I think she had been working at North Riverside and then came to us as like a kind of like a in between space before they could get her space. But the place we worked at did that a lot of promising with that kind of stuff. Like they did it to
Yeah.
me, they
Right.
did it to like not the own store kind of thing, but like
Mhm.
it was a if you're a workhorse and you work a little too hard, a little bit too much for your money, then they will keep you wherever
They're
you're
gonna
at.
take advantage of
They
it.
take
Yeah, girl, you would
advantage.
know the best. Girl, that's
Mhm.
your experience. That's lived. That's
And we
Yeah.
we
experiencia
had
carne propia. Mhm.
yeah, exactly. And I remember
Yeah.
we had like, do you guys remember?
Yes.
Maybe Marj was gone. We had a
I
store
I remember. I
manager.
do remember.
Yeah,
I met him a couple
that
times. He had a very
dude.
loud personality, right?
That man would tell you anything you wanted to hear and do nothing. He gave everyone promises. I'm like, I'm having a problem. Don't worry. I'm going to talk to this person. Never talk to that person. They're having a problem. Yeah, we're going to get this resolved. Never resolved everything. He was
And
all
you know what's
smoke.
crazy?
He
Like
was
he. I
paying
feel like
people
he
with
didn't.
gift cards.
I didn't know. Well, that. Like I didn't know. He didn't know what. I feel like he didn't know what the hell he was doing. Like
He didn't.
legitimately.
Saying a
Like he
lot
did
of
not
like
know what the
funny
hell he was.
words.
Like I. And because I remember he ended up implementing, he took Kelly away from us, and I was like, that's the biggest mistake you can make. Like you
Yeah.
picked the wrong I literally scripted a whole email, and I said, I'm like, you're making the wrong decision. It's in professional terms kind of type of thing. I was like, she is the person that, like, because Kelly was your merchandiser, Kelly was your visual, like she had all that, like she had all that experience, and the person she put, man, the person he implemented for that role had no freaking clue.
Oh, when they
That
swapped the roles.
yes.
That's the lady I really did not like, right?
Yeah.
Nobody
I,
liked
f-
her.
I feel like that was the one. There was like a Snapchat that was made where I was like making fun of her because they like put her childhood photos on the fucking wall in the break.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I
I
do
don't even know
remember
what I
that.
was saying. I just know I was talking mad shit.
I remember those photos.
Oh my gosh. To more like traumatizing stuff, talking about like the, what they would do for us, right? When I first started there, I felt like there was like big dinners, big this, big that, right? Like
Parties or
little
like,
things, party. Yeah.
Especially like
yeah,
around Thanksgiving, Christmas,
Yeah.
like they would
that was
buy
really nice.
food.
They would treat us to food
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah.
But then once like towards the end, it just like it was not in the budget. But I just remember it. Poor
Don't have
Blanca.
any money, baby.
Like literally, they buy us like lunch or something or whatever, and then
Oh, and I
Blanca's
could never eat
eating.
it.
Blanca is
I
eating
could
fucking
never eat it.
masticholi over here, and then I go like we're about to go or whatever. I'm throwing something away or something, and I look at the actual like box or whatever it came in, and it says like meat sauce. Blanca's a
And
vegetarian.
and the thing that pisses me off is I always ask. I always ask because sometimes they wouldn't get me anything. You know, I'd eat it. I'd be
Mhm.
eating like sides. Like they got everybody turkey and I get rice. You know.
Mm.
And also, what pissed me off, we would get pizza and like people would be eating the veggie. Like there's
Yeah.
30 pepperoni. Fuck off my veggie.
Take off the pepperoni, goddammit!
Yeah, yeah. Poor me, poor
Oh
Usha.
hell no.
Yeah.
Because she would also not
Yeah.
eat meat.
Yeah, I miss her. She was like
I
our
really
work
do.
mom, honestly.
She
Yeah,
was the
she was a
best.
sweet little Indian lady. I loved her. I grew up with her pretty much, I feel like, you know? She'd always be asking
She
me
was
like how's
always the
school
mom.
She's our work
going. She was
mom.
always the mom. Like,
She's our work mom.
yeah, like she was always just a little sweetheart, you know?
Yeah. And such a
Yeah.
hard worker. We were always like,
Yeah.
you
I
need to
think
get
she's still
out of
there.
here.
She's still
She
there.
might be. She might be. The
I don't
last time
know.
I went, she was still working there. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
Mhm.
what's crazy is like going back to like the gifts or dinners or stuff that we get. Well, first of all, that happened because they put all their eggs in the basket with that guy that they hired.
Oh
Oh
yeah.
my
And
god,
spent
Ooh,
what
yeah.
was left
yeah,
in
yeah,
mine.
yeah.
The only
Yeah,
thing
yeah.
I miss about that is we never got that coffee.
Tell me
I
why that's exactly what I was gonna
know.
say right now. That's exactly what I was gonna say.
We didn't get
They
nothing.
whispered sweet nothings in my ear talking about we're gonna
Okay.
have an
So
in-store coffee shop, and I was like, in store?
what ended up happening was that at one point, somebody, a new CEO or something came into place or whatever. He was going to be doing this like major turnover for our company, where essentially there was going to be like shops within the shop, like brands within that were going to be
Yeah.
like kind of like
It was
shoppy or
like a
whatever.
He
boutique.
was trying to create like or like a mall inside
Yes.
of this
Inside.
store. Like
Yeah.
little
Right.
boutiques for every brand or like,
And he
whatever
wanted
the
to do
bigger
away with
brands were for every.
coupons and
Yeah, he wanted like the
Yeah.
best, lowest
Yeah.
prices.
Yeah. He
Honestly,
just
I was
wanted.
kind of on board, but
well,
his change was so drastic because it's an older demographic, isn't it? It's old
It's
people, huh?
seniors. It's
It's seniors who want.
moms.
It's like people who want budget
Bargain.
deals.
Get budget.
They want
Yeah, that's
bargains.
the
Coupons.
right
They
word for
love
it.
their coupons, and they're older people, right? This
Mhm.
man wanted to come in and be like, you know what? I want everything to be fresh. I want everything to young people. I want nothing but pops of color. And like,
yeah,
not bad at all, but like, what a drastic difference. And like, you've basically lost your foundation of a clientele.
Mhm.
he
You know?
was not gearing towards his generational clientele. He was trying
He
to
wasn't.
completely switch his clientele, and he was switching to people that didn't have money. Like at that point,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
his
Yeah.
age, our age, like early
Yeah.
20s, and people that don't have money.
Yeah.
Or just like psychologically, people could just not get over not
Over it.
having coupons,
So,
right?
mind you,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you an example. This shirt right here is $20, right? Or $20, but then it's on sale for $12.99, whatever.
Which is a
Right.
So
marketing
he
tactic
wanted to
anyway.
eliminate that mentality, and he's like, I'm just gonna make this shirt
12.
$12, you know, and no coupons, no sales, just the plain like the item at that price. People would not.
People just
like
couldn't
it.
do it.
I literally had a
Yeah.
lady tell me, no, I like that there's sales. I like that it's like 40 or 50% off. I like my coupons. Even though I know that it's like the same price or whatever, I like having to that. I was like,
They felt
"Oh,
comforted
okay."
by the fact that there was a sale or they were getting money off or whatever, right?
Right.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
So like
exactly.
that was
It's a
his biggest
mentality.
mistake.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Uh-oh.
is the
I think
oh,
Marge got frozen.
No, but I would say, well, like, that's
Uh-oh.
why they had the Ellen DeGeneres trying to explain it all in those commercials
Oh
that
yeah, I
nobody
forgot
got.
about that.
oh
That didn't work
yeah, I
out.
forgot
Yeah.
about
So-
Because
that.
I remember
Yeah.
we would literally have like shirts marked down or like shirts that were $5. Like it was a little black tag. It would say $5. Like it was
Oh,
a
yeah,
good
yeah, yeah.
deal, but nobody wanted it. They wanted the coupons.
Right.
It's because it's that,
right.
like how Marge said, like when we were talking about our employee discounts, it's that same high that people get that they think they're
Right.
getting a better deal.
It's right. It's like exactly. It's a mental thing. It's a strategy. Now you know,
Oh.
listeners, they're these stores. They essentially mark like up. As how do you say it? Like they rise the price of things, and then they
Yeah.
do these sales so that it makes it seem like you're getting like a good discount.
A good deal.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
big thing with that is there's only going to be, I can't remember how many days or weeks legally they had to have
Oh
them
yes,
off
you are right.
sale. It was
Yeah.
a
Yes.
couple weeks a year where they legally have to have
I think it was
everything
like
off
a
sale,
week
so
or
that way it's
two.
kosher to have it on sale for the rest of the time.
Yeah, because we would always go up and down with the sales.
At the stores, we literally would have people doing the signing. The signing was like pricing. So there was literally people like flipping papers and stuff like that to adjust the prices. You had people like marking down stuff, ticketing stuff. It's there's a lot. I feel like I was gonna say there should be like a television show on like
Us
retail. You know
working
what?
in the back.
Yeah, like no,
Retail
just like
101.
right.
Because
Yeah,
I
that
think,
would be
yeah, the
interesting.
customers really nitpick like about their
Mhm.
clothes sometimes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, we don't have your size. I think that happened to me a million times where someone would come in and it's like,
Yeah,
winter's almost over. I have 3 sweaters left on a table and you
yeah,
want it all in large. Like, I'm
yeah.
sorry. You should have come 2 weeks ago.
Right, right. To kind of like wrap things up,
No,
is there
I
maybe
still wanna,
any?
I wanna talk about our original story, our
Okay,
storyline as
go ahead.
friends,
Go
as
ahead. Go
friendships.
ahead.
Okay, okay.
We're all
Is
over
there?
the
Is
place.
there? I know it's gonna be everywhere.
Bro, I don't know. I don't even remember when I met March. I met her and she was talking about Milk and Honey book and she was like, I love this poetry book. That's my most vivid first memory of March.
And I still love
That was
poetry. All right, listeners,
That's my most vivid.
get ready for this
You just put it
great
allegedly.
story. If we recall earlier in this episode, Monica was talking about how she kind of has a strong personality. And sometimes people take to it, sometimes they don't. I would also like to say, perhaps I have a stronger personality as well. Anyway, I had been
Definitely.
working I had been I had been working at Juniors for I think at least 2 or 3 years or something like that. Like I had been there a while. And then Monica gets this position in Juniors as well. And she shows up, I think like her first day or her first week, and she's already starting to tell people, okay, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I was a manager at a
I was
retail
not a manager.
store or something.
I was not.
Something about like you had experience already in a
I
store,
did.
like you already
Yeah,
know
I
what to
did.
do, something like that, something like that.
Yeah.
And at the time, the attitude did rub me the wrong way. I was like, what is this girl doing showing up to my turf telling me what to do? Do I know you? I was on some mean girl shit. I've grown as a human being. I'm at least 15 plus years past that age now. But I was on some mean girl shit at the time. And I was like, Monica, why don't you go over there to Mrs. Dude, I would send her away to a different cash wrap so I could like hang out with my other friend or something. I'm like, who's working on Mrs. So and so? I want to work with so and so. Monica, why don't you go work the cash wrap over there? Dude, and like the thing is that like yeah, it was a bratty thing for me to do, and like Monica actually just took it like a champ. Honestly, looking back, she was like, and I knew she probably knew that I did not like her.
I
And
don't know.
you did it.
You got a
No,
stone
That's
cold
even
titties,
worse.
Marge.
I was like,
And
girl,
this is
go.
when we end our friendship. Click.
And I was over here like, yeah, I don't know, that girl kind of rubs me the wrong way. And the girl that I was like working with at the time was like, yeah, me too. I kind of don't really like her. And so we were both like, so we don't like her. And we were like, yeah, we don't like her. And I was like, all right then. I was like, someone confirmed my belief. You know what I'm saying? And I don't even know how it happened, right? But somehow, some way, I was a little too mean one day, and I was like, I saw the light, and I was like, this is not
I
very
don't remember
Buddhist of
at all.
me. This is not very compassionate of me. This is not very friendly of me. I'm actually acting out of character right now, and I don't think I like that. So I went to go apologize to Monica. I was like,
I don't
hey,
remember.
I'm sorry about like the way that I said that, or like I feel like I snapped at you at something or something like that. Where I was like, ooh, even to myself, I was like, ooh, that was too much. That was too much. I gotta go tell her I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I think I ended up apologizing to you for some reason, and I don't even know like how actually our friendship ended up unfolding after that.
Yeah.
But because you accepted my apology, I felt like, oh, this girl's kind of fucking cool, you know? Like, I was kind of a bitch, and she was like, let bygones be bygones, you know? And I was like, this girl's kind of cool, honestly. You know,
I think
like,
my favorite part is you started the feud and you ended it. Like, girl.
the drama was me. I was the drama. And Monica was just so cool about it, you know, that I was like, I'm kind of fucking with Monica low key, because later, the coworker that also said that they didn't like her, she came to talk shit with me about Monica again, and I was like, I'm off that shit. Like, actually, I worked with Monica, and she's kind of cool.
Yeah,
like,
we're cool. Like, we're like this now.
yeah, I was like, actually, I take it all back. Actually, like, she's kind of cool. I'm fucking with her right now, so I don't want to hear that shit anymore.
Wait.
And then I think just getting to know Monica, because I am also not everyone's cup of tea. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm somebody shot of whiskey. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know what? I'm really fucking with that energy, because she tells it like it is. She's very direct. She doesn't mince words. And me as a human being, I love chef's kiss. I hate when people are fake nice. I hate when people pussyfoot around an answer. They like go around the bush trying to tell me something. She's direct. She told me exactly how she felt. Till this day, she tells me exactly how she feels, and that's why she's one of my best friends. And we were covered.
I always say, you know,
How do you feel about this, Monica? How do you feel about the feud you didn't know was happening?
You know what's funny? You know what now that she told me, I remember her telling me. I'm not gonna say it because it's inappropriate, but she told me like a memory. I was like, I do not remember me saying this at all to you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't remember Marj ever being like mean to me. I only have like good memories because I remember her and I getting in trouble because we went to lunch either together or almost together, and we got yelled at for that by the former HR lady.
She is the common denominator of getting yelled at with managers. Miss Bad Influence over there.
So
we got the one manager, me and her. The one time I was naughty. Well, you know, we were naughty.
One time in her entire retail career was Christine naughty with me.
I was a people pleaser, you know. I wasn't naughty very often.
She was a sweet soul. She never did anything wrong.
Stop, that makes it seem like I'm bad. But we had been walking around, like, it was dead. It was so dead. But this guy, like, this, it was an older gentleman manager. Like, he was so even filter. Never raised his voice. Never got angry at all. And me and her were walking around. We were sharing an energy drink. You know, not really doing stuff. I mean, we would have eventually.
We're good workers, but it was slow. It was dead. We were enjoying our time together.
We were. And we were having a good time. But what happened is he saw us like on our way up, on our way down, on our way in the freight elevator. And he finally goes, "Don't you guys have something you have to do? Why are you still walking around?" We were shocked. I was shocked.
It's because we were so loud everywhere we went.
Yeah.
Everywhere we went, it was hee-hees and ha-has, girl. Like, we were laughing. We were cracking up at each other. Like, and just
such a good time.
We were having a ball. And this guy, like, is such a chill dude. I've never seen him raise his voice, not once in my entire time working with him, except that one time. And I was like, damn. I made him raise his voice. Both me and her were like shocked. We were like, oh. Yes, sir. We were like,
running away.
I was like, you're right. I got fitting room.
We were like, we're gonna get it all done now. Let's go refill the whole gin well or something.
Oh my God. I just remember that going back to like kind of what Marj said. I felt it's the same thing with Blanca. Like, I think Blanca said that she kind of felt the same way about me when I first started like working on the team. Or
I was like, look at Miss Bossy. Okay, first day here.
Not just that, the fact that like, because obviously we're in the morning, so I was like, I would be like singing, listening to music. And...
She was so
See,
loud.
Monica
and I'm
is
like,
her genuine
it's
self.
6 in the
She's
morning.
authentic. Any environment, she's authentic.
I said, it's too early for that.
She's like, Blanca's like, I haven't even had my coffee yet.
I was like, what is up with her?
No, the fact that she's a morning person, though, like.
I wasn't at one point. I wasn't. I then transitioned. Once being in the, like having to wake up, I then transitioned to that. But at first, I was struggling, like waking up. I was like I would be so tired, so like low energy or whatever.
You didn't have to use your customer service voice anymore. Oh, that's the one thing I can still repeat that whole speech.
Dude, I used to have
Like,
the Spanish
on a whim.
closing announcement down pat.
Yup.
I had that shit memorized because it's all. Sorry, no, I feel like I'm gonna get.
On a tangent. Yeah, I
I'm
know,
sorry,
me
I'm
too.
gonna get a little bit heated
Hey,
here,
somebody
but
going,
I hate.
listeners,
Listeners, please. When they say they're closing in 15 minutes, they're closing. Please get out. Please get. We have lives. We have plans. We want to leave as well. I was on those people.
It's
Man,
true,
Me too.
yeah.
Me too.
if you were closing,
I would do it like
we were wanting to get out. There was no staying late unless we had to and the store was trashed.
Dude, I was there doing the evening announcement, staring at the people fucking up my fucking shit, you know. And by the way, we are closing in 15 minutes. One more time, we are closing in 15 minutes. Thank you so much.
I would do it at like every 5 minute countdown.
And you'd get
Yes,
petty,
no,
and
da-da-da.
I would be loud. I'd get petty and I'd get loud. And you'd go and go, thank you so much. We've been closed for 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Please put all the selections. And we would like
dude, I was
for you
such
to
a little
please
bitch.
stop and go.
Oh my
But my
god.
favorite was, I think it was one of the older ladies, managers. It was a Christmas Eve, and she, I don't know if you guys remember, Dee. If you really want to know her name, you can know it later. But she was literally like, I don't know if you know this, customers, but we are closing early today. And our families, like your own, would like to spend their time with their families. So we would kindly ask that you look at where you're at right now and go up to the register now, because we are shutting the doors at 6 o'clock today, and you will be escorted out of the building if you are not done.
Yikers.
I love that.
I'm fucking with it though. Like sometimes some customers need to hear that shit, you know?
Yeah, and I will say this because at our store, the store we worked at, it was connected to a mall. The mall was closed by a certain time, 9 p.m., whatever it was or whatever. But then our store, like around the holidays, would be open like a little bit later, or a couple hours later. So people would be like, "Well, the mall's closing. Let me just jump over," you know.
No, it was horrible. And I remember when I first started, like, they had enough people there that we would close, and they would also want us to, like, have the fitting room cleared and, like, the floor not look messy. And I'm just like, bro, I want to leave. It's past 10. It's 10:30. Let me go.
Oh, and one time we were closing, and like Blanca said, they want us to go and check every fitting room, make sure like the customers are out of there, make sure there's nobody in the store, or like start to clean up, right? One day we were closing. I'm working Junior's fitting room. I must have been 19, maybe 20. I walk into the fucking fitting room in the men's section because I'm trying to help them out because my section's clean and I want to get the fuck out of the store. I walk into the men's section, which is a kitty corner from the junior section, and I start to smell teen spirit. And I'm like, what is this? What is happening here? And you hear and you see these tiny little feet on their tippy toes on the fucking handicap stall. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm nothing but a 19-year-old. What do I do? I run out of there. And I'm like, coworker, or like whoever was around. I was like, Days is fucking. They're fucking in there. What do I do? What do I do as a fucking coworker? Like, and they're like, we gotta get LP. And I'm like, okay. So we start calling LP. LP in the men's fitting room. There's two little teenagers messing around. They're having sex. What do we do? And they're just like, just wait for them to come out, and then we'll track them. And I'm like, okay. And I'm like, just outside the fitting room, just like finish up. And they're like, okay, it was taking too long. It was taking too long. So I call LP again. I'm like, it's been 10 minutes. What do I do? We're closed. And they're like, okay, knock on the door. I'm like, okay. And I go on. Hello? The store's closed. And they're like, oh yeah. Okay. Dude, I spend the next 15 minutes watching them run out of the fitting room because they think I'm not watching and go underneath a clothes rack to continue fucking. To continue having sex.
That's horrible.
And then I catch them again because I'm cleaning. And then they run. They're running pants down. They're pulling up their pants as they're running to the next clothing rack or the next huge thing of clearance, thinking that we can't see them. Baby, there's cameras above. LP is watching you. And they continue fucking 2 or 3 other clothes racks until they finally got escorted out, dude. And they were tiny. And you know the funniest thing is that it was a tiny little like teenage boy, and obviously the boys grow like later than girls. So the girl was like a foot taller than that man, and she was running full sprint. That little boy goes. I'm hearing the fucking cartoon video, like the little cartoon footsteps. Like that shit was so funny because he looked like a baby. He looked like a baby with a grown ass woman. But she was probably only 16
horrible.
anyway. You know, like they were babies. They were
Oh my
both little
gosh.
kids, but that was
But
horrible.
Jesus, like,
It
can you
smelled,
go fucking
bitch.
in the
I had to
store?
clean that fitting room after that. It smelled nasty in there. Smelled like bounce
Why
that
did it
ass.
make you clean and not a maintenance person?
Dude, how many times have we as retailers cleaned those fitting rooms?
I know. It's been.
I
Well, the
found
amount of,
piss. I found poop.
Yeah.
I found after Labor Day. I think it's after Labor Day. Or what holiday do you start to wear white? All white.
Yeah, Labor Day.
Labor Day?
Wait, yeah.
It was one of those weekends that I go and clean a different fitting room, and it's 8 or 10 different white pants with huge bloody stains in the middle. Someone had their period,
Ew.
and I had to go and like, what is it called when you discard them, but you have to like,
Yeah.
Defect.
yeah.
Check them out.
Yeah.
I had to go defect out fucking 10 pairs of brand new pants that I had just pulled out. They had just pulled out of the truck like that week because it's Labor Day. I'm like, bitch, you
That's
saw it.
nasty.
You saw that blood the first time you took off those pants. There's no way you didn't see that bright red spot on those white pants. And she
People
continued.
have the audacity.
She continued to
just-
try
they
other ones
just-
on.
They just don't care. That's
Yeah,
the thing.
they're
It's like,
nasty.
And they
They
left it all in
really
a
just don't
pile for
care.
me. And so they left it in a pile so that I don't know what the
That
hell's going on.
That has to be like intentional. You know what I mean?
It's so gross.
Because there's just no way. There's just no way.
Between-
I don't.
Yeah, between that and then the bathroom situation.
The bathrooms are pretty bad too, but that's definitely. As an employee, I never had to deal with the bathrooms, but like as an employee, I did have to deal with the shit and the piss and the period stains in the fitting rooms. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't get paid enough for that shit.
Well, we did not
At
get paid
all.
No,
for
to be dealing with technical biohazard because it's
Yeah,
bodily
Yeah.
fluids.
right. That's a biohazard. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Literally,
exactly.
like, come on. Nasty ass people.
Well, just to kind of wrap up this episode, the thing that I want to say is, please be kind to your retail workers, to your anybody who works customer service, who in food anywhere, because they're not getting paid enough. They're working long hours, and there's a lot of like crazy shit that they're dealing with at the store. And as you learn from today, these are things that you don't find out about. And this is just some of the things that in our many years of working in retail that we have experienced. So please, please, please Be kind.
We're all
Is
humans.
there anything
Don't
else that?
like if you
Right.
don't want people to go to your job and do crazy shit, please don't come to our job or whoever's working in retail and do that shit to them. Like just think about that.
And the reality is it's I know you're angry about something, but what it really comes down to is it's a sweater, it's a pair of pants, it's a drink, it's something that's fixable. And a lot of times, like that person that you're getting, that's that front loading person, a lot of the times they can't do anything for you. And it's not usually
Mm.
their
Right.
fault. You know,
Right.
just take a breath before you go in to see somebody like that. Because most of the time they're a kid, and
Yeah.
like you just gotta kind of take that with a grain of salt with everything. And I'm not
Yeah.
saying that you aren't certainly justified in something if something happens, but at the same point, like just think before you act. Kindness
Yeah.
gets you more. What is it? The sweetness gets you honey, or
Sugar.
sugar
It's
gets you
like
more
sugar or
than
honey or something like
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if there's anything you take away from the episode is that like, please humanize us. Like we are real people. we have we have to do this day in and day out. You know how many people have told me like, well, this is your job to clean up after me, and I'm like, ma'am,
It really isn't.
ma'am, you didn't have to do all that. You know,
Yeah.
like please be
Yeah. That's true.
considerate.
I've got that too. Be considerate. Alrighty. Well, thank you so much, friends, for once again sitting down to talk with me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate y'all.
Absolutely.
Say-
This was definitely
All
more
right.
chaotic than the other one.
Right? It's still fun though.
Hmm.
The trauma
It was a
becomes
little, it was
comedy.
everywhere, but it was definitely a good one. Like I kind of mentioned, it's a little bit different, but these stories, these experiences, if you never like talk about it, you're not gonna hear about it. So it's like that's why it's important to have these conversations. Even like this was supposed to be kind of like a fun, like a well, some of the things are not funny, but that you have to laugh about it. Like I said before,
Mm.
so. Alrighty. Thank you, friends. As always, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time to listen to this episode. If you could please leave a review and share what information resonated with you. Please follow and share on social media. The pages are at Se Vuelve Podcast or my personals at Se Vuelve Monica. Once again, thank you so much for listening. Nos vemos pronto. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.